is often shaped by headlines, but the country's true story is written by citizens who create solutions, build businesses, drive innovation, and save their communities. Welcome to today's conversation. I'm Aquila, your host. To my left
Joshua,
and my right.
Timothy.
Today's conversation explores how an ordinary Nigerian can become an ambassador of a better national image. So, Mr. Joshua, I would like to ask you, what does rebranding Nigeria mean to you?
Branding. Branding
Yes,
Nigeria.
rebranding. You know, when you hear rebranding, what comes to your mind is product, service. But in this context, it's about a nation, your country. So, when you hear rebranding Nigeria, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, thank you so much. So I'm going to speak from two perspectives,
Okay.
right? And I'm going to come from the business perspective of rebranding.
Okay.
Now, when organizations want to rebrand, right, it means that they've done something before,
Yes.
but now they want to make it better.
Yes.
So they've observed the market, and right now they want to tweak how they run their services or the way their product is being projected, right? Now, but if you take it down to nation building, rebranding Nigeria, now basically it's not just about maybe changing the country's national anthem or changing the color of the flag, but it is deeper than that,
Okay.
right? Rebranding has to do with how the external, how other persons, other nations, how they perceive us. What do we say as Nigerians, right? So if you're talking about rebranding a nation, it means that the nation have done an intrinsic study of their values, their character, and they discover that, oh, I think we need to sell positivity or sell this set of values to other persons. So, for example, when you hear of Japan, right, what comes to your mind? In this recent World Cup, right, there have been stories of how the Japanese team, even after they leave their dressing room, they leave it extremely clean and neat. That's so they are selling that culture of integrity, that's culture of coordination, right? Now, but how do we talk about rebranding as it pertains to Nigeria? So basically, when we refer to rebranding as it concerns nation, it's about working on the values, the culture, the system of that particular nation, depending on what they want to say.
Okay. So basically, you said it's beyond the national anthem, changing the national
Yeah, so
anthem.
it's we could change the national anthem, or you could change the, let's say, the flag, the color of the flag.
Yes.
You could change, but that's not rebrand. That's just touching the surface. The core part of rebranding as it affects nation is the citizenry, not just the logo or the citizenry, yes, the heart. When you say a Nigerian, what comes to your mind? What definition comes to your mind? So exactly. So
that come together to
better. So that's when we refer to nation branding. Those are the core things we look at, the values of the citizens.
Okay, thank you so much. And to you, Mr. Timothy, I would like to know, what do you think Nigeria has a problem with? Is it an image problem or storytelling problem? What do you think is the problem?
Okay. Thank you very much. So, to me, I think Nigeria has both image and storytelling problem.
Okay.
So, on the aspect of image telling problem, I look at it in this way. I look at it that every nation has a reality problem, which Nigeria is not exceptional as a nation. When I mean reality problem, we have talked about insecurity, we talk about corruption. Every nation has that. And then, also when you look at the case of storytelling, the stories, despite the reality problem, we still have good things that happens within our country, Nigeria.
Yes.
But what goes out more, we tell negative stories of our reality problems, and that is why you keep hearing stories of insecurity, corruption to international communities. Why? It is the stories that are always out there in the media houses. That is why they are always mentioning about it. So, but if we go more and we keep talking about our proper stories, our achievement of Nigerians who maybe through innovations, entrepreneurship, and has promoted, and there are a lot of Nigerians that are also promoting Nigeria in good things and activities or what they do. If you look at the likes of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, now if you look at her, she's a woman, but she has projected Nigeria positively. But most of these are not in the media houses.
Yes.
So the storytelling, I look at it that the storytelling has more problem than when it comes to reality problem.
Okay, so you basically said storytelling is the major problem alongside image. So
Yes.
basically, the media does more because they're the ones that put this out to the
Definitely.
society.
Yes.
Okay, and so Mr. Joshua, how do you think an ordinary citizen can contribute to changing the perception of Nigeria? So we already know Nigeria has a perception out there. So how can an ordinary citizen change that perception?
Okay, so how can an ordinary citizen change the wrong perception, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So it falls back to what you asked Timothy about storytelling. In the advertising industry, right? They say that a man that fails to advertise is like a man that winks at a lady in the dark, right? What that means is you are the one that knows what you are doing, but nobody else sees it.
Yes.
So you love a lady, but you are looking at her at the dark. You're doing the right thing, but she can't see because you're doing it in the dark. So probably I don't believe that Nigerians or young Nigerians, not all, so are not telling Nigerian stories. They are. But what we are concerned about is the fact that the way it's being told is not with the same energy that we share negativity or the wrong news.
Yes. So that's more like the wrong aspect of it has, should I say, or they put in more effort to put that out. compared
So
to the other
it's
parts.
not just putting more effort. The issue of the Nigerian state is deeper, is deep, right? When I mean deep, I mean the generation ahead of us, they have every reason to be patriotic, right? Because they had free education, free healthcare, they had scholarship. Nigeria gave them almost everything they had, right? But our generation, most of them, they are like their own government because they give themselves security, they give themselves water, they provide what's it called?
Social
So everything they strive to make those provisions. Now, that kind of person who has experienced firsthand the problem of your nation not providing for you finds it difficult to talk about the nation. Do you get? So we're not just talking about you telling stories of Nigeria when it's rosy. We're talking about a state of patriotism. Patriotism as a state does not have mood swing, right? When I mean does not have mood swing, I mean it does not rely on when something good happens or when something bad happens. A patriotic person is a patriotic person, regardless. Yeah, you just say good things about your country. Now, how can young Nigerians tell stories about Nigeria? It's very easy. There are stories right now in our country that are good. It mustn't, yes, does it mean we shy from the fact that some things are happening in Nigeria that are not right? No, there are things obviously happening in our country that are not right. But what's your disposition towards branding Nigeria, right? How concerned are you to share about the positive story? And if you notice, Nigerians are big on intensity, but for any nation to thrive, it must be consistency over intensity.
Yes.
So something can just happen today now. Everybody just talks about it. In 2 weeks, it's gone, and then nobody talks
about
nothing
it
again. Right? Wait for another big thing that happens. But look, how can we consistently share positive image about the country? Social media is a major tool, right? Instead of going on TikTok to do things that I'm not saying people cannot do their personal stuff, right? They can. If you look at the wave of what happens on social media right now, is that people online or influencers are using their platforms to sell products,
Yes.
right? And even organizations reaches out to these influencers to use their platform to sell products. I mean, if it was not working,
They're going to
you won't make anybody an ambassador to sell products, right? So it's because it's working, it's because they're getting the traction. So imagine one person decides to, my decision is to tell, like, we don't have to be many. right? One person just said and say, I'm going to use my platform to share positive Nigerian stories. And I think that's one of the things that Unveiling and Rebranding Nigerian Initiative is doing, right? Not just to share, but to encourage people to share. So I think young Nigerians, it's difficult, honestly, that's the truth, because most young Nigerians, they struggle to get into school. When it's time for work and NECO, there's some tough time. Sometimes they can be writing jam and then the laptop goes off. There's no compensation, nothing. They try to get into university, they can't even come out, they take loan and all that. They finish from university, NYC, struggle again. They finish from NYC. If you are not well placed, you have to fend for yourself. And now that kind of person comes and you say, come and talk about Nigeria. Do you get? So there's no reason. So it's beyond just talking about Nigeria, but how can you love a nation when it's hard? So if there's no reason to talk about Nigeria, can you inspire someone who has never experienced the goodness of Nigeria to talk about the goodness of Nigeria that he or she is seeing in other places? So you see that it's a step-by-step process, and I think we'll get there.
Okay, so you basically say the media is that platform we can use to change the perception.
Yeah.
So to Mr. Timothy, I'd like to know, what role do the media and content creators play in shaping Nigeria's image?
Okay. The media and content creators
Yeah.
play a very crucial role
Okay.
in shaping Nigeria, because if you look at it, the image of Nigeria is whatever is put out there that international communities and the global society
Yes.
makes use of.
Yes.
Because whatever we put on there, we as a nation, we can discuss whatever we discuss here, but as long as it doesn't go to media or content creators, it still died down with us as citizens or as a country. So if you look at it now, the kind of stories the media houses or content creators tell, this what goes out to the general public and the global society, because whatever story they are giving out, that is where they are picking up from.
Yes.
And then if you look at the kind of stories we share, I earlier on mentioned that we have a reality problem, and the reality problems comes with banditry, insecurity, what did you call it, corruption, and all of these things are the stories that goes out there. If that is what the media shares, then the global society takes all of those things, and the image of our country that is what is portrayed based on what they're giving out. But I look at it that if the media houses and content creators balance this up, they say when you balance up your stories, whether our reality problems and they are there or not, we can still blend with the good happenings or maybe entrepreneurs. There are Nigerians out there, both in home and abroad, that are making Nigerians proud. Those kind of stories can be shared. That is one. And I look at it that if opportunities are given to, maybe if you look at entrepreneurs and change makers within our country, to also share their stories, and you share their stories on how they came about to be what they are, you discover that what the global society also picks that up and then makes use and promote what the image concerning our country, that Nigeria is industrious, and we are the greatest industrialization in Africa, looking at the likes of Aliko Dangote. But most of those stories, you don't really hear them out there in the media houses and content creators. So that is why I look at it, that the media can be able to promote that. And if the media also allows that they have to blend in most of the happenings within our country, and also give up opportunities to those who are contributing to the growth and economic situation of our country, then that changes the image of our country out there. Thank you.
Okay, so you basically said the media plays a role by balancing what is being put out there.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. So to Mr. Joshua, so can you share with us an example of a Nigerian whose work has inspired and changed life, has given hope?
Yeah, so before I mention examples, right, to what he said, I want to say that in Nigeria, Nigerians, we have an identity problem. See, it's very difficult. What we're talking about is not just something that we just want to achieve in a day. Nigeria has an identity problem
That should be worked on.
So what I mean by identity problem is that when I meet someone and say, "Who are you?" Say, it's either they say I am a Yoruba man or an Hausa man or I'm I'm from Edo State, or I'm from the East, or I'm a Christian, or I'm a Muslim, or take just anybody watching, just go out on the street and ask, please, who are you? Where are you from? You would hardly hear your first answer to be that I'm a Nigerian. You would definitely, it will be difficult to get someone to give that first answer as I'm a Nigerian. That I'm a Nigerian would have been a third response. Either they say I'm a Yoruba man, or they've said I'm a Muslim before they will say I'm a Nigerian. Or they'll tell you, oh, I'm from the eastern part of the country, right? Yes. No. And that's where we miss it. Because you're not reckoning as a Nigerian. Before you became an Hausa man, you're a Nigerian. Before you became an Igbo man, or from Tiv, or from any part of the country. Now, and that, if you look at the Americans, they don't have an identity problem. They are Americans. Even when you see the president comes out, right, he's an American. There's nothing around him. What he's wearing, the emblem is American flag. Nothing is confusing about him. He's representing the country.
Yes.
He's not representing a movement or anything. He's representing the country, regardless of political difference, right? So Nigerians should reckon with Nigeria. It's difficult. It might look like, why would I reckon with a faction in the country? It doesn't make sense. So first of all, we have an identity problem to define who you are. Are you a Nigerian, or you are a Benin man? Are you a Nigerian, or you are an ethnic person? Who are you? Or are you a Nigerian or you are a Christian?
I'm a Christian.
Do you understand? People would rather say they are Christians than say they are Nigerian, and that's what the problem is. So you see that the problem is that we have Nigerians and all of Nigeria.
So they will not ask you, what religion are you? The first day you're a nominal.
So that's the problem. We want people to reckon, we want people to be part of their country, and it's not something that people should just go and do. Yes, the government has a role to play, yes, right? But we have a generation right now that have not really been able to solve. They are doing it. There are persons within this generation that are making waves, but when you just oppose the statistics with the other generation, you see that there's a gap. And this generation is youth-based, right? Meaning that we must make exploit. Now, with regards examples of Nigerians who personally have inspired me and that are doing great, I would call persons like Dr. Kobos Maduka, right? Persons like Dr. Steve Akintayo, right? When we hear his story, probably those two persons I mentioned, right? When you hear the story of Dr. Stephen Akintayo, you see someone. It's just a typical example of the current Nigerian youth. I follow him a lot, and he spoke about how he sold popcorn at the Experience concerts. Right, the Experience concert goes every, I think, first Friday of December. At the Experience concerts, he sold popcorn at the Experience concerts. You know what that means, right? In fact, he was so poor that his father-in-law had to beg him to advise him that, my daughter,
It's going to so far.
she did not experience this thing in my house. That was how bad it was. That kind of person shouldn't have even seen any reason to believe in Nigeria, because a Nigerian...
You're already going through.
Do you understand? Because he must have been thinking and might say, if I'm even in this country, I would have been experiencing it. Maybe the government would have given me. But in spite of that, so in that challenge, he saw an opportunity, and right now he's a billionaire. If I let them talk about what he's doing right now, he's doing exploits, right? Same thing with Dr. Thomas Maduka. Firm belief that even if, this is that patriot thing, that even if the country has failed me, I will not fail the country. Now, anybody who reckons with Dr. Stephen Akintayo in the global space will never see Nigerians as terrible people. So you need to be the entrance or the gates through which the diaspora, persons outside the country or anybody that comes across Nigeria sees Nigerians as lovely people. Everybody who has done business with Dr. Stephen Akintayo or Dr. Kobos Maduka would never see Nigerians as terrible because of the kind of excellence that they've been able to exude or they've been able to receive from these people, right? So you see that it takes one person, and there are many examples of people who are doing exploits. It's not just people in the entrepreneurial space, right? There are persons doing But I just chose these two examples because for me, those two examples are key, right? They've been able to move. And so, the co-founder of Flutterwave was saying something recently on one of the podcasts, right? And he said that, I think it was in one, yes, I think it was in one, he said that the older generation, even in difficult times, saw opportunities, right? For them, those problems that they saw, for them, they felt it was an opportunity for them to become better or become great or even help the nation, right? But in our generation right now, what we see is that those opportunities or those problems is in our mouth to complain. So you can see why there were more success stories in the older generation, people buying bank at 35, right? You could see why those generation had more stories, success stories than what we are seeing now. It's possible. See, when we're not, there are many Nigerians doing well at young age. Many. Over in the news recently. There's this 17 years old guy that built an AI, taught himself coding from 15 by himself, self-taught, and he's doing extremely well. Nigerians just came back from Rome, winning medals. So there are many Nigerians doing extremely well. But we're talking about the volume, right? So we can take right. So those examples are examples of persons who, for me, I believe that they've inspired me to believe in Nigeria because there are opportunities in this country that even without government support, you can take it head on and grow, and then government will see you. Those two persons now, there's no government are reckoning with them because of how excellent they become. So we can strive to be better. It's not supposed to always be like that. There should have been a soft landing, but if there's no soft landing, what will you do? You create a soft landing for yourself. And somebody said, if they don't give you a seat at the table, you bring your own chair.
Thank you so much. So to Mr. Timothy, how can young people use their skill and platform to project Nigeria in a positive image?
Okay, young people in the present day generation has a lot of ways young people could use their skills, their crafts to project the image of Nigerians. Because if you look at, we're in a technological age. Now, the kind of age we are in, we never had it before. Even when in terms of sending an exchange of letters, communication before wasn't this. Even in this country, I wasn't born then, but you hear of stories. If a letter wants to be written from the north to the south, you will see days. Somebody threats and takes a lot of days. But now, at the way as we're talking here now, you will just realize that you have sent a letter to somebody in US and it has gone. So there are diverse ways through which communication can take place. Before even in our local communities, you will see that you will have gone town criers just to call for meetings. But now, do you need all of those things? We don't need all of those things. So in our different platforms, social media platforms, you can discover that the kind of content we create, we project and promote the image of our country. Our technology, you can use your platform. Maybe you are in tech, you are not using in the wrong way because it depends on the kind of things where you hear of stories like Yahoo and all scam, fraud, and all of those things. You will use those platforms to be able to do the right things and promote the image of. As a computer scientist, you look at when a lecturer is teaching you, he will tell you even when he's teaching you hacking. He will tell you, I'm teaching you ethical hacking. I won't teach you the bad one, that you shouldn't use the other side of it. Why? That is to tell you that there is the other side, but it's a choice for you to be able to use that. So the platform we use, in every area of skill or endeavor whether you are a pastor or a man, you have different platforms. As a pastor, you have congregants that you can be able to speak to. And as you are communicating to, you discover that your communication is going to thousands of people. So that goes a long way. And a man, you are speaking to your subject, a traditional ruler, you are communicating. These messages are passed across generations and quite a number. So the platforms we use, we should be able to use them for positive impact. And that is why you see that Unveiling and Rebranding Nigeria is here to be able to communicate and ensure that the image of our country is positively shared and the story. We always tell half stories, but now Unveiling and Rebranding Nigeria is encouraging Nigerians to be able to tell full story of what happens and what goes up within. and outside Nigeria by Nigerians.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'm going to be asking one last question and it goes to my book guest. So when history looks back at this generation of Nigerians, what do you hope it will remember us for?
For me, honestly, it's whatever I'm saying here. It's I mean, I'm feeling it right because I'm also talking to myself to be able to be a system and a voice to cause that change that I am asking people to do. Right. So when posterity look at what we are doing now, let it say that we were a generation that did not complain but solved the problem. Right. Let posterity say that this set of people they were not part of the problem but
That is so
they were the solution. If you look at I think today if you look at the stories of our fathers, right, you will notice that these were persons that fought for Nigeria even when there was no benefits. Some of them might have ulterior motives, but most of them, even when there was no benefit, there was nothing on the table for them to say, oh, if to get this thing, you know, there was nothing for them. They fought for it. But what we see today is that people fight for things because there's interest. Right? People want to hold on. But when you see people fighting for a cause, it's not because they're fighting for a cause, it's because after something will happen. You know, they say when you so it's very funny how things have changed. But the truth is that one thing that I yearn for is that this generation should be able to take a shift. For me personally, I don't believe in bloody revolution. I believe in mind shifts, right? That if Nigeria is going to experience any revolution again, it's going to be a revolution where persons who are sound will be able to sit in different positions in power that will change perspective and change the way leadership and governance should be. That's it. That's that for me. That's the revolution. Because if everything turns bloody and again, the people that now comes into power, they don't have the right perspective. It's going to be terrible, right? So I really yearn that this generation should stop complaining and start taking, challenges and initiative to solve problems, regardless of what happens in terms of support, no support. Let's just try. Let's just do it. At least let them say we did something. And the truth is, we are doing something. See, you know, in the Bible, it talks about Elisha. I think it was Elisha or Elijah. I think it was Elijah that complained that oh he was the only one, right? And oh there's no other person. And then God told him that there are some prophets who have not bowed to Baal, and they were many, right? So, but he never knew. So I don't believe that I'm the only one with this mindset, or we are the only one with this mindset. There are many persons all over Nigeria who are moving with this same force, right? And we'll just keep on adding our fire. And very soon we'll meet to be a volcano. And what we'll see will be, they will say, they just came, no, we've been building, we've been believing, we've been trusting for a better Nigeria. And we've been studying, we've been having the right skill, the right perspective, the right strategies. And now this is it. So we are coming and we are trusting that very soon Nigeria will begin to grow from where it is to where it's supposed to be.
Thank you so much. And so, Mr. Timothy, so what would you hope we are being remembered for this generation and posterity looks back?
Okay, for me, society looks back. I want to be remembered for the impact because if you look at generally about life, one is remembered for impact.
Yes.
If you look at those, the likes of we have like in Nigeria, we have the likes of Dan Tata who passed on. Though he passed on, but anywhere you hear Dan Tata, you will know what Dan Tata means or what he stands or represent. So I want to, when posterity looks back, posterity should be remember that there was once somebody, Timothy, existed, right? And then I want a situation, also a situation whereby Nigerians themselves, where we have a mind shift or a mind change. Because it's not all about, before you see Nigerians, people do things not because of what they're going to get. But now somebody will do something with you, the next thing they will ask you, what is the need for me? which is a very bad initiative. Like, for example, you could just ask somebody, please, I will need somebody's number, I need so and so person's number. The person has the number. Like, I can ask Mr. Joshua now, do you have this person's number? He will say yes. Can you please help me with the number?
You just nothing now.
You say what is in the
Just
Yeah,
nothing
my
now.
course.
So you can see that kind of mindset. It's very wrong. So we shouldn't be doing things. Our forefathers never did things because of what they would gain. You could be sharing from what Joshua mentioned. You could see that our forefathers, if you mention the likes of Shehu Shagari and all of those our forefathers that passed, they fought for this country. They are no more, but the democracy and independence of this country was fought by our forefathers, which brought up what we are enjoying today. They never benefited. They never stayed long to benefit what we're enjoying today. So we shouldn't be doing things as Nigerians because of what we're going to benefit or what is in it for us. So we need to shape the minds, because rebranding Nigeria cannot just happen when the minds and mentalities of people are not shaped. So I want a situation whereby, looking back, the minds of Nigeria are shaped not by ethnicity or religiosity, but by what? The fact that we're Nigerians. That is what I want. And then we can now identify challenges and then provide solutions to it in diverse ways. A banker should have integrity while at the banking sector. A technologist should be able to what? Have integrity, or he should be able to maintain law and order and be a good ambassador of his country and civic duties and responsibilities at the post of duty. And INEC officer should be able to what? Represent the true nature of an INEC staff. So that is what I expect. It's in the kind of Nigeria where we can have free, fair, and credible election, even without, we shouldn't be hearing of people balloting, lifting ballot box and the rest. Even when it's something drops in front.
Just about values, yeah.
Yes, values. When we have such that in Nigeria where you keep something you are doing outside an open space, you come back and meet it.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your input. Thank you, Mr. Joshua and
You're welcome.
Mr. Timothy.
You're welcome.
So the question goes out to everybody. When prosperity looks back at this generation of Nigerians, what do we hope it will remember us for? Let's have your opinion in the comment section. That's it for Rebranding Nigeria. See you in our next conversation. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye.